One day, an incredible event took place in a quiet neighborhood in the United States. A garbage collector visited Joshua Burns' house twice a week. Recently, Joshua had adopted a golden retriever named Shelby from an animal shelter. Shelby was a timid dog with a traumatic past, making her extremely cautious around strangers. Whenever the garbage collector appeared, Shelby would bark furiously. However, the garbage collector had a fear of his own, dogs. As a result, he always kept a safe distance while emptying the Burns family's trash cans. No matter how much Shelby barked, she never approached the garbage collector. When the garbage truck pulled up to the Burns home, Shelby would be outside, and her loud, growling barks would echo through the neighborhood. The garbage collector diligently did his job but always worked quickly to avoid any confrontation with Shelby. One day, as he was hastily emptying the Burns trash bins, he felt something lightly brush against his legs. A wave of fear washed over him. He thought Shelby had finally approached him. He froze on the spot. Slowly turning around, he saw Shelby sitting on the ground, watching him with curious eyes. Startled by this unexpected encounter, the garbage collector jumped back and quickly retreated to the garbage truck. The garbage collector had encountered countless dogs in the line of duty, but he had always managed to keep his distance. Yet he had never come across a neighborhood dog like Shelby, who initially barked aggressively but then suddenly sat beside him. This peculiar situation wasn't going to end there, though. Later that week, when the garbage collector returned, Shelby was already waiting on the sidewalk. This time, she wasn't barking. It was as if she had sensed his fear and decided to give him a chance by standing quietly. After all, Shelby also seemed afraid. The garbage collector hesitated for a moment before reaching out and gently patting Shelby on the head. He hadn't touched a dog in years due to a childhood incident where he had been bitten. That fear had followed him into adulthood. Petting Shelby didn't reopen old wounds, but it didn't entirely erase his anxiety either. Shelby's sudden change in behavior puzzled him, and he couldn't help but wonder why the dog had altered her approach so drastically. Weeks passed in this manner. Shelby never got too close to the garbage collector. She seemed to understand his fear and respected his boundaries. The garbage collector, in turn, began to grow accustomed to Shelby's calm demeanor. He realized that Shelby could sense his fear and chose not to push him. But one day, when the garbage collector arrived at the Burns home, something was different. Shelby sat on the sidewalk as usual, waiting. But this time, the garbage collector stepped out of his truck with a different attitude. He walked with clenched fists, and the discomfort on his face didn't go unnoticed by Shelby. She cautiously took a step back, recognizing that something was off. She knew the garbage collector was always wary around her, but he had never shown any signs of hatred or aggression before. Yet Shelby, with her painful past experiences, understood what clenched fists could signify, and it made her uneasy. The garbage collector slowly approached Shelby, his fists still tightly clenched. What he did next shocked both Shelby and anyone who might have been watching. He noticed Shelby's unease, unclenched his fists, and knelt down. He placed his hands on the ground where Shelby could see them. One hand held a dog treat, and the other a new ball. After a brief hesitation, Shelby excitedly ran toward him, grabbed the treat and the ball, and wagged her tail joyfully. From that day onward, the garbage collector made it a point to spend a few minutes with Shelby whenever he visited the Burns home. Those moments became the highlight of his week, and Shelby developed a deep affection for her new friend. However, there was an unexpected part of this story. Joshua Burns had been recording these heartwarming encounters on his security camera without the garbage collector's knowledge. Joshua couldn't understand why Shelby had stopped barking at the garbage collector. Normally, Shelby was always distant and distrustful of people. Why was she behaving differently toward this man? Determined to find out, Joshua reviewed the security footage, and what he saw deeply moved him. Despite his busy schedule, the garbage collector took the time to gently approach Shelby. But the story didn't end there. On the next garbage collection day, Joshua was waiting alongside Shelby to greet the garbage collector. Smiling, Joshua shook his hand and thanked him for the special bond he had formed with Shelby. He then shared Shelby's backstory, the traumas she had endured, the hardships she faced in the shelter, and the deep mistrust she harbored toward humans. The garbage collector listened intently, his eyes reflecting both surprise and empathy. He realized just how much Shelby had struggled and how much courage it took for her to regain trust. In that moment, the garbage collector fully grasped the impact of his actions. He hadn't just made friends with a dog, he had given Shelby a chance to heal from her traumatic past, feel loved, and trust again. Touched by Joshua's heartfelt words, the garbage collector shared his own story. He revealed a traumatic childhood experience of being bitten by a dog, which had left him fearful of dogs ever since. Even the mere sight of a dog made his hair stand on end, triggering anxiety and panic attacks. Joshua listened empathetically, recognizing the bravery it took for the garbage collector to face his fears daily in a job where encounters with dogs were inevitable. He was impressed by the man's determination to perform his duties despite his phobia. No one could have predicted that a golden retriever with a troubled past would help a garbage collector overcome his deepest fear. Likewise, no one could have anticipated that a small act of kindness from the garbage collector would have such a profound impact on Shelby and her new owner's lives. Please don't forget to like the video, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel.